but I can't see you because I didn't wear my glasses. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Dan. I really appreciate it. And it's so nice to see so many friendly faces and familiar faces, and what a fun day. So today I get to talk to you about the relationship between UAP and psionics. Not just about UAP and psionics individually, but the relationship between the two and the relationship with other organizations outside of UAP and psionics that have been made possible because of the relationship between the two. I know I just completely confused you. So basically what this is doing, because there is such a relationship between the two, it's creating this beautiful unity. And when you have anything united, you have this beautiful transference of information and, of course, the building of relationships, which is what this is all about. So keep in mind that word unity as we go through this very quick chat. I promised Dan I would keep this to a short, quick 12 minutes if I possibly can. Okay, so you all know what UAP is, so let's talk about what psionics really is. Psionics is this interchangeable buzzword that's going on right now, but we do need to clarify a couple of terms. First of all, para means beyond. So paranormal is anything beyond normal. You all know that. So we're talking intuition, missing time, seeing a ghost, levitation, an out-of-body experience, maybe even a near-death experience. Parapsychology is the study of paranormal, and psionics technically is the study of the paranormal using electronic means. Now, paranormal is often shorted with just the word psi, P-S-I. So that's why you have your psi and your onyx. And that is the true definition of psionics, even though we are using it interchangeably. So these days, when you hear the word psionics, it could actually mean the paranormal, such as intuition, precognitive dreams, telepathic communication, not just between ourselves, but also with NHI. And as we mentioned, some of the other paranormal activities and abilities. They all relate to a consciousness connection, both with ourselves and with NHI and UAP. So now that we kind of know what we're talking about, let's actually talk what we're supposed to be talking about, which is the relationship between UAP and psionics. And the first is discreditation. They have both been discredited for not just decades, but for centuries. We know it, we've seen the desensitization, we've seen the denial, the lies, all the things that have made the UAP and the parapsychology fields and people within those communities very angry. Now, if you look back, that's kind of the same thing that AI went through. AI was discredited. There was a time that we all thought, oh, there's no way AI is going to be self-learning, and it's certainly never going to take our jobs. But now look, it's been credited. And then same with digital currency. I'm sure Paul can attest to this. People are still thinking of it as fringe. There's still people ignoring it. And yet, most major financial institutions are adopting digital currency as a way to move money. So what once was discredited and denied is now being validated. It's being accepted. So it's really interesting what's happening. The second link between UAP and psionics, and I'm using the word psionics to refer to psi or paranormal, is propensity, or one's proneness or leanings. And what I mean by that is psi leanings can dictate a likelihood of having a UAP experience. So in other words, what I'm saying is, let's say you have the ability to see a ghost, or you can actually talk to dead people, or you have precognitive dreams. There's a lot of evidence right now in research showing that there's a link between people who can do that and then later see a UAP. It's like an open window and you feel the breeze over here to give you kind of an illusion of that. So if you have a leaning for one, you might have a leaning towards the other. This has to do with receptive intelligence, a lot of right brain thinking, also your embedded philosophies, your spiritual beliefs, your political beliefs, your ethical beliefs, but that is a much longer seminar, so I'll talk about that next time. How about that? And then the third link between UAP and psionics is correlation. Now, this is the direct occurrence of psi or psionics during or after an experience. It's the psionics embedded within the UAP experience, such as an experiencer having a telepathic communication with an NHI, or having those precognitive perceptions, feeling missing or altered time, like Travis Walton in 1975. Levitation. Some people experience the meta view or the ultra view that Edgar Cayce felt, where you just all of a sudden have this bigger view of time and space, and you're better understanding your place in the universe. Again, this is related to a consciousness connection. Moving right along. I mentioned just a moment ago about telepathy within the UAP experience. And what is the resounding message that experiencers continue to report for decades that they are hearing from our NHI neighbors? And that is, be kind to one another and take much better care of our Earth. Of course, I think we're getting a lot of other messages as well, but that seems to be the biggie. So, number 4. This one I'm really excited about because this one really encapsulates unity beautifully. This is the multi-group involvement, or the confirmation of both UAP and psionics through a collaborative effort. We have the government involved, academia involved, various interest groups like NASA or Bigelow Aerospace. We've got us, the UAP groups. We've got the Psi groups, such as the Parapsychological Association. And then, of course, we've got researchers that are using psionics, or Psi, for UAP study. So let's dig into this a little bit more. The first multi-group involvement is us, UAP, and Psi-centric organizations. We've got the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. We've got MUFON. Thank you, Earl. You're with us today. SCU, the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, the Society for UAP Studies, also based right here in Los Angeles, International UFO Bureau, etc. And then on the parapsychological side, or Psi side, or paranormal or parapsychological, we've got IONS, and we've got the Parapsychological Association. Norway's got this amazing Vasco project right now. And then there's the Sol Foundation out of Stanford, Galileo Project out of Harvard, and then the Archives of the Impossible out of Rice University, are all studying both UAP and psionics. Secondly, we've got government agencies, not just the DoD and Congress and the Senate, but various other agencies within the government that are looking into UAP and psionics. They have for decades. Of course, they've denied all of that, but they're in it. And because it has to do with government, and I'm not the expert there, and Steve Bassett is, I'll leave all of that to him. Okay.
Not today.
Not today. Okay. In addition, I mentioned NASA and Bigelow Aerospace, and we've got Skinwalker Ranch. If you watch that show, it is definitely about UAP, obviously, and a lot of psionics in there. And the telepathy tapes I mentioned here, because of the telepathic communication that they highlight in that beautiful podcast, is very intrinsic to the telepathic communication that we are seeing with our beloved UAP experiencers. And then academia. This is a wild ride. They finally entered the UAP conversation. We've got Sol and Galileo and archives that I mentioned, but also in there is Stockholm University. The University of Edinburgh in Scotland has an entire institute called the Kessner Institute of Parapsychology. They deal specifically with parapsychology, but now they're talking a lot about UAP. And then, of course, UK's Durham University as well. And the specific disciplines that are getting involved, well, it's always been astrophysics and physics, but now there's immunology and pathology, biology. Parapsychology falls under psychology. And then you've got philosophy, sociology. Religious studies is really a hot topic right now. And when you have the psychology part of it and you've got the religious studies part of it, you're talking cognitivity and you're talking spirituality. Cognitivity and spirituality are joined at the hip when it comes to psionics. And then I mentioned to you psionics as being used for UAP studies. Now, think about that. That makes perfect sense. We've got remote viewing, which can tell us where they are, what are they up to. We've got telepathic communication. Okay, what is it that you want to tell us? And meditation and intention, creates UAP activity. We can draw them to us. Just ask Jake Barber or Chris Bledsoe or Stephen Greer, and I bet there's probably a few people in this room who could do that too. I want to talk to you. Okay, so recap: UAP and psionics, discreditation. We're overcoming that. Propensity is a psi leaning. You might be prone to have a UAP experience, so there's hope for us all. Correlation is the embodied psionic experience within the UAP experience. And then, of course, the multi-group involvement, which is creating overall a beautiful sense of unity amongst all of the various groups that are involved. I asked you to keep the word unity in your mind, and that is because this collaborative and expanding effort of all of these multi-groups during the disclosure era, which is what we're in right now, is fostering such a spirit of unity within all of humankind. It's going to drip out of this room into the universities, into the government hallways, into the public and global psyche. And with this unity, don't you think that we're going to be able to enhance the interconnectedness between all of us? And equally as important, the ecological health of our planet. That's really important. So, to the request to be kind to one another and take better care of our earth, we can now, in the spirit of unity, answer, we are all listening. Thank you. Thank you so much.